Time to make our opponents sleep with the fishes.
Only shooting stars break the mold.
This video and my channel are sponsored by Whatnot. What's Whatnot? It's the website that's behind me. Whatnot is a marketplace where you can buy and sell cool collectibles by going to streams and bidding on these super fast 5-minute auctions where people have usually really cool collectibles. There's a lot of card games on here like Magic the Gathering, and everybody's on the hunt for the One Ring, including myself. I'll be doing another stream on Whatnot soon. My previous one, I actually auctioned off tokens, which I hand drew, as well as some very unique cards that were from a Magic Fest. Again, that's whatnot.com, and if you'd like to sign up, you should use the code in the description of my video, because not only does it help support my channel, it also gets you some extra spending bucks when you sign up. Again, that's Whatnot. Hello everybody, and welcome to Brawl Stars! I'm Amy the Amazonian, and today I'm playing Real Big Fish with Kiora, Sovereign of the Deep, who actually doesn't synergize with the creature type fish or shark, but does with krakens, leviathans, octopi, and serpents, which means that our deck is chock full of big, high-cost creatures. Kiora, Sovereign of the Deep, helps protect herself by having Ward 3. She's pretty well statted, she's a 4/5, so she can sit onto the battlefield, and then whenever you cast krakens, leviathans, octopi, or serpents from your hand, specifically from your hand, you get the top X spells, or X cards of your library, and you get to cast one of them for free if it actually costs less than the big fish that you cast, which means that you get to keep on getting some nice big fish. Now, it only counts the ones from your hand, so you can't cascade into a cascade into a cascade, which is fine. That's why we have a Modi in this deck. As you might imagine, because so many of these creature types are extremely high mana cost. Yeah, we're talking about a lot of 6, 7, and 8 drops over here, all the way up to sort of technically a 12 drop, but not really actually a 12 drop. The Icebreaker Kraken, it gets discounted by your snowlands, so we do have some snowlands in here. Kiora is great with ramp in the early game, little bit of tech and ramp in the mid game, and then the big fish on top. But we also have some cards that are specific to Arena that generate fish for us. Talking about Oyem and Artok, who, well, there's a couple on here. Leviathans, serpents, krakens, all that. And also the Tireless Angler, who has a very, very similar set of cards. Nice to have some way to generate more of these fish, but really what we're doing is we're ramping. And then once we start ramping, it's hard to stop because we have to cast our big, beautiful fishies. I'd say some of the all-stars in this deck are general all-stars in Simic anyway. Coma, Hullbreaker Horror. These are both great cards, and since we're casting these real big, scary fishies, Verdant Rejuvenation to get even more onto the battlefield. Kiora, Sovereign of the Deep does feel a little bit like a lot of other Simic ramp decks, but having that sub-theme of these big ol' fish is really fun and does add an extra layer onto the deck. I think this deck is cool, I think it's fun, and I'm ready to start fishing for wins. Let's go into the queue. Chandra Hope's Beacon, gonna be mono red, spells worth doubling. And there's a lot of them worth doubling. This hand is a little too mono blue for me and doesn't have quite enough ramp. So we're gonna mulligan, and here we go. We've got something that can tap for mana. We've got a counterspell. Seems like an okay hand to me. Chandra Hope's Beacon is pretty scary though, because she has a very powerful passive ability. By the way, whoever at Wizards of the Coast decided to give Planeswalkers passives, why? Why? Why'd you do it? I hate it. We have enchantments for a reason. Anyway, she can ramp you up so you can cast your big spells. She doubles your spells just by default. That's what she does. And she can also burn any 2 targets with her minus ability. Adds up to a lot of scary stuff all in one creature. This probably isn't the helm of an Oops All Chandra's deck. This is probably going to be more similar to a Koth deck, a big red deck. I could play a Crab. Crab is a little hard for Chandra to kill. Just a little. A big red deck. The biggest and the reddest. Molten Impact kills my Caryatid. The next time they cast an instant or sorcery, it's going to deal excess damage, so they're going to be able to redirect 3 damage onto something else. Heraldic Banner, they have enough mana for the Chandra this next turn, which means that I should probably just hold open Tail's End, since any of my creatures I would be playing here, except for Kiora, would die. So maybe I should just play Kiora. Maybe we should just play Kiora. The reason I'm saying Kiora probably wouldn't die there, there are ways for them to kill her, is because she has Ward 3. Thank you for the ward. I appreciate it a lot. Hi, I'm just a merfolk noble. Why is Kiora a noble? I don't actually know why she's a noble. Ooh, can't be countered. Get straight through the ward. That's one way to do it. They could have actually played Chandra and done that too. Well, would you look at that? They killed my commander. How rude. Well, here's Goreclaw. Goreclaw and a Tail's End. And I guess if they have a way to get around that, we could technically play the Deep-Fiend. Deep. If they go to kill this... Oh, I know what we're doing. We're getting fried. We've got 5 mana here. Fight with fire. We're gonna turn our bear into a friend. Ta-da! This can only -5 on the turn it comes out, which means this is sort of safe from Chandra. Sort of. Not a lot, but a little. We could also get the Tireless Angler out here, or Cherex. Either way, we'd be able to hold open our Tail's End. To me, it makes more sense to throw down the Tireless Angler. Since that way, like, I don't know, I'll throw this down as a land, or I can hold it for casting spells. I'd rather just play it. When we start getting islands or swamps, it's just gonna be islands. We don't have swamps. I'll get more fish. Fishes is good. No Chandras. No Chandras. You can play her again next turn. Hi. Ah, come on. He's just an old man who's trying to catch a fish. Just an old man trying to catch some fish. Ugh. Some people, no respect. No respect for the fishing profession. He's a sanctum. Now we're gonna get in some spankings. Elder Deep-Fiend getting in another 5 damage. Double Vision going to get even more copies of spells. Kind of like Chandra does the same thing, copying the first instant or sorcery you cast during each turn. They've got 3 mana. That is enough to kill this with like a lightning bolt or similar. Abrade, that'll do it. They're going to double the Abrade, that kills the Deep-Fiend. But since their removal is mostly going to be damage-based, excluding maybe some Chaos Warps, Herix feels pretty good here. But Emoti. I might be able to do both. Emoti, what do you cascade into? I need to know. Tireless Provisioner. You guys are both gonna die to Chandra. And you know what? That's fine. Kiora swinging for 4. Hi, Chandra. You're gonna kill Emoti and Tireless Provisioner? It's fine, I got greedy. I like cascading, it makes me feel powerful. Real cascade, not fake cascade. Crabscade. Here's Caryx. We got Reclamation Sage and Armored Scrap Gorger. We're gonna get that Rec Sage out. We're gonna destroy that Double Vision before they get the double-double. We'll be able to kill Chandra, or just start swinging in. And it looks like we've got the advantage here. Playing something that has 17 toughness against a mono-red deck, good way to get through and get some damage in. Since we can pump it up, give it some power. GG, Chandra. I played against a Simone and Dina before, but I'll play against one again. Simone and Dina! Gotta get that value rolling when it comes to sacrificing your creatures. When you draw your second card in a turn, you'll be draining your opponent for life, and you can also sacrifice those creatures to draw cards and put lands into play. A bit of a growth spiral ability. And once you have 8 or more lands, as is the way with the Quandrix, not only do you get to do that once, you do it twice, which means you can draw 2 on your opponent's turn as well. Now, I could hold the Tails End for the Simone and Dina, but I don't feel like doing that. So instead, I'm going to play Armored Scrapgorger so I can ramp. So I can play Big Fish. Because I like to play Big Fish. Simone and Dina on the battlefield. Going to be able to sacrifice that army to gain the life back. Sounds pretty sweet to me. Here's Tireless Provisioner. We're going to use that to get a treasure. Oh, a delicious treasure. Gotta have my ramp. If they wanted to, they actually could have sacrificed before that finished resolving. I think that would have been pretty spicy. Nope, they're swinging in for 2. Gonna let that zombie build up. Finding the old gods! Gonna try and destroy my Tireless Provisioner? I'm actually thinking I'm gonna Tails End that, because I love Tireless Provisioner, because it keeps spitting out more and more mana for me. So no, you don't get to destroy my Tireless Provisioner. That's my Elf Scout. Go ahead and get myself some more mana. Mana. We'd use that for Great Henge, or we'd play Kiora. I have 2 big fish in my hand. I got 2 big fish. I'm gonna go for the Great Henge. Yeah. This exiles the Tails End out of my graveyard. But I know what I want. What I want is greatness. At any cost! The cost is, 6 mana. It gets discounted for the, largest power among my creatures. Simone and Dina gonna go yum yum munch munch munch. Eat up that zombie. How delicious. Ooh, love a tasty boy. And now when we have creatures enter the battlefield, we will be getting a +1/+1 counter and drawing a card. Sounds good to me. Finding the Old Gods Chapter 2, they ramp. Cool breeding pool. Clearwater Pathway. And Cruelty of Gix! No! My really cool creatures! I think they'll hit Reservoir Kraken over Eryxmithes, because Eryxmithes is kind of just a land. And while that's fine and cool and dandy, you know, this one's also better to reanimate. We will be able to exile it out of the graveyard with Scrapgorger, though. We'll gain 2 life. Care to hit me? Nope. Here's Kiora. Oh, is it a wash away or just a sacrifice? Oh, just a sacrifice. Good. Gonna turn that landfall into more mana. Treasure for the treasure gods. And here's Eryxmithes. Eryxmithes is really cool because it is a Kraken, but it's also a land. It will not be triggering the Great Henge because it doesn't enter the battlefield as a creature. But it will be triggering Tireless Provisioner because it enters the battlefield as a land. We hit a Reclamation Sage. I'm going to get rid of that Cruelty of Gix. That way they don't get to tutor on Chapter 2. Would you look at that? Get ourselves a landfall trigger. And pass the turn back to you, Simone and Dina. This actually is a Serpent on its backside, so if we flip it over during a turn, it will trigger Kiora, since you cast the backside of a battle. Battles are weird. I'm not blocking, you're scary. Awfully scary. Scary good. Grixis Uprising will also be drawing me a card right now, since we have a creature of power 4 or greater. Infernal Grasp! Do you pay the ward cost? Thankfully, I can recast Kiora. I have plenty of mana. Novice Occultist. Going to draw a card when it dies, which will draw 2 cards, thanks to Simone and Dina. Let's go for Kiora. gonna go for Invasion of Segovia over Garruk's Uprising. Garruk's Uprising would be more card draw, but Invasion of Segovia feels like I'm playing more directly into our theme, and since we have the Great Henge, I don't feel that pressured to, you know, go for card draw right now. A treasure! Invasion of Segovia. Yeah, I'll remove that. It turns out I have enough mana to do both anyway, so sure, I'll play Uprising. Doesn't matter if I play it before or after Kiora here, since we wouldn't have had card draw right away anyway. Make disappear! Okay, so I could pay the 2, but I can't pay 4. So, sure, it gets countered. Decline. They get to draw. That's going to be 2 cards drawn. I lose some life. Oh no, just 1 drawn. And I'll exile Cruelty of Gix out of your graveyard. That or Binding is probably a good idea. Now, Arixmethes is almost a creature. It does become a 12/12. It's really hard to see, I know. A Temple of Mystery. All my creatures now have Trample, which is important for things like Arixmethes. A 12/12 without Trample is just going to get blocked by the Dreadhorde Invasion token every turn. Data Mass. I just got a picture from a friend who is at a Red Sox game. Go Sports! I actually walked by a Red Sox game a few nights ago. I went for a nice 9-mile walk because I'm a crazy person who gotta use those legs. Gotta use them. And I walked by Fenway Stadium at the start of the game. And it was a Red Sox versus Yankees game. And I saw everybody, you know, filtering into the stadium. People have got some good camaraderie, good amount of drunkenness. It was in the late afternoon. And then I saw the end of the game. And let me just say, the Yankees lost. Badly. And when the Red Sox beat the Yankees, the Red Sox fans are thriving. And the Yankees fans are horrendously disappointed in their team. And just kind of like, oh my god, how did this happen? How did we get this way? And it's like, oh yeah, I know how you got this way. 'Cause you lost to us, let's go! Nobody likes the Yankees. Let's draw ourselves 2 cards. Ilysian Caryatid. Do I want to turn Arixmethes into a creature right now? Actually, no. To protect from board wipes, I'm going to keep it a land until I can attack with it next turn. Since it doesn't untap when it turns into a creature here. So ready to have a 12/12 with Trample, though. Yeah, they used Meathook Massacre to wipe my board. That's why it's like, oh, well, they probably have another board wipe in there somewhere. Simone and Dina back on the battlefield, but with Summoning Sickness. Dusk Legion Zealot's just like, oh, please don't sacrifice me. I'm just a guy. I could put all those creatures back in their hand. This would also put Kiora back into my hand. But I know what I want. I want a 12/12 with Trample. And now I have it. On a nice empty board. Lotus Cobra? You don't have any more Slumber counters, Arixmethes. Arixmethes is like, wait, I don't? No, Arixmethes, you don't. Kiora back onto the battlefield to get myself some more card draw. The engines are online. Replay that Caryatid. And a Kiora Best the Sea Gods for next turn. Perfect. Arixmethes swinging in for 12. Nice. Kami Bamboo Grove's gonna generate 2 forests in hand. That's pretty nice with Simone and Dina, where you can kind of use this growth spiral ability. And my Kraken is so awake. My Kraken has had as much coffee as me. Hey! I'm the one who's bouncing everything into hand. Well, fine. I guess we're both doing it now. They're losing life, gaining life, as they draw and they drop. Ooh, when this dies, they'll draw a card too. Nice. A snake. A land. A Kraken. Discard 4 cards. Breeding Pool, Into the North, Temple of Mystery, and Snow-Covered Island. I have an 8/8. And next turn, you're getting tapped. And the turn after that, I don't know, I'll try and steal your commander. Since you could sacrifice most other things. You're gonna get 2 cards drawn. 2 lands put into play. Also, 8/8. Just big. Big and chunky. You can keep it trample next turn. Not that it needs trample, since all their things will be tapped. Oh, never mind! It's not going to be my turn next turn. And it looks like our opponent is very into life gain, life drain here. As they gain life off of Simone and Dina's Draw 2 ability, or other ones that they have in the deck, I will be losing life equal to the amount of life that they gained. Or other way around. Sorry. When I lose life, they gain that much life. I was thinking of Veto. This is Exquisite Blood. So, we lose 2, so they're going to gain an extra 2. That's going to help stabilize their life totals. Now, they are very likely playing Dina in this deck, because there's a Simone and Dina deck, which would combo just right off the bat with Exquisite Blood. Veto does the same, but it's not as favorable. If you're playing Simone and Dina, right? You play the Dina in the deck. So that Casualties of War. I'll float a mana. I still keep my fish since it does have hexproof. Pass to combat. Anything? Nothing? We good? They're drawing a card. They're losing a bunch of life to do it. They're paying 3 life for it. Now it's my go. Great Henge. Grux Uprising. And Kiora, Sovereign of the Deep. You gain a little life off that Great Henge. It's a pretty great one. Nice, a Slinn Voda for more bounces. I probably didn't need that Grux Uprising. I just really wanted that trample. Power Word Kill. They're going to kill Kiora, but it's going to cost them 5 mana to do it and 2 life. Move my commander to the command zone. Sure, and I'm going to swing in here. This is a little risky since it does put them with me at a lower life cost, but it's also kind of hard for them since now they only have 6 life left. I'll lose 1 life from that. And we'll see how much life I'll lose off everything else. They go down to 6 with the Dreadhorde Invasion. They gain some life off the Exquisite Blood. How exquisite. Simone and Dina, they're going to sacrifice. They're going to draw. They're getting some life off of these various abilities. You have so much mana, Simone and Dina. Absolutely nutty. They gain another 2. The Coochie Silencer. This is the slightly modified version of Dakuchi Silencer, which allows you to discard any kind of card to destroy a creature or planeswalker. I believe on the original one, you had to discard a creature card in order to destroy a creature. Nice that they edited that one. I feel like of the things they've changed for Alchemy, that was just like, oh yeah, it should have been like that originally. Okie dokie, what do we have here? How about we start replaying Kiora? Yikes, she costs so much mana! I'll just cast all my other stuff. Erixmithes doesn't enter the battlefield as a creature. Topiary Stomper. Yep, I'll remove one of the things. Bunch of stuff happens. Grab another blue source, throw it into play. You now have access to Counterspell, just a regular old vanilla Counterspell. Here's my Ilysian Caryatid. Draw another card. Who's deeper in their deck? Oh my gosh, we're actually even for how deep we are in our decks. Play Lair of the Hydra as a backup attacker for next turn. I'm going to swing with my big, chunky Trampled Kraken. We're holding up Counterspell. 3 life remain. 18 on my side. We gain 2 off that Great Henge. It sure is great. They're down to 2 now, since they lost 1 off the Dreadhorde invasion, but they can draw some more. Like, they can draw, and that causes them to gain life. They'll gain 5, sorry, because Meat Hook Massacre causes me to lose 1. Then we lose another 2. They gained a life. Off that land entering the battlefield, they have 3 cards in hand. And honestly, more mana than they probably know what to do with. If you use Castle Lockpoint, you are paying 4 life. Going down to 4, but this must be out of sheer desperation. They need an answer to the Trampled Kraken. And they didn't find one. And even if they did, well, it better be uncounterable, because Counterspell. GG, Simone and Dina. Jadar Gulkar of Nephalia. A nice zombie spitting out wizard who is very good with various sacrifice abilities and zombie things. Jadar is cool because if you don't have a decayed zombie, you get a decayed zombie, which gives you a ever-renewing resource on a 2-mana commander. Adds up to a lot. Ooh, Warlock class. I'm going to throw down this Coldsteel Heart. And I think I'll name blue since we have some double blue in hand. Warlock class is going to be making me lose a little extra life when a creature dies. And since this dies, if it attacks, they're going to have things that die. I understand that. I could ramp with the Elysian Caryatid here, or I could get myself a 3/3 just to stop them from attacking. I'm going to hope that I'm able to get another land, so I'm able to play Kiora next turn. That will feel pretty helpful to me. But if I can't, I can't. Ooh, Morbid Opportunist! They're Morbin. This dies, and they will draw a card. So I will also lose an extra life because of Warlock class. There's a land off the top. That's great for us, so we can play Kiora. And then next turn, I have either a Serpent, a Leviathan, Crab, or an Octopus that I can cast. I have enough mana for any of those. And because Kiora has Ward 3, she's not that easy to kill by targeting. There's ways that you can make me sacrifice her if I have to sacrifice my largest creature, for example. But on her own, she's pretty good. All right, Kiora, we're just going to block here. Prevents 2 of those damage. They get to draw a card. And a Burglar Rat. Oh, I have to discard. This card's really good, but it's not technically a fish. That said, I'm going to drop Steve Dash or Octopus because it's probably the worst card in my hand. I have a whole bunch of other Leviathans and Serpents, so I don't really feel like I need the Octopus here. Oh, nice. A land. A land's going to get me up to enough mana for Hullbreaker Horror, which I can cast either on their turn or my turn. I could also go for the Kiora Best of Sea Gods, but I want to show off what Kiora does. So how's about we swing in with Kiora? This will give them an opportunity to draw another card. That's fine with me. We'll pass here. This has Flash, Hullbreaker Horror. A big, scary fishy. Yes, you're looking. You're thinking, how much mana do I have? I have 7 mana. Ilysian Caryatid can tap for 2 because we have Kiora here. We've got 5 more mana sitting between our lands and this artifact. Pitiless Plunderer, going to turn their creatures dying into treasures. Morbid Opportunist, just full of value here. Blocking again with Kiora. They'll draw a card, they'll get a treasure. And as we move into end step... Oh, I'm so ready to rumble here. I'm ready. So is this lobster. Lobster, not a creature type. Hominid? Crab? Kraken? Yes. Lobster? No. Kind of a shame. Kind of a shame. Okay, we move into end step, and I'll go ahead and play Hullbreaker Horror, which will get me, Reclamation Sage, Gwenna, or Counterspell. Reclamation Sage gets rid of this Warlock class. Gwenna ramps me. Gwenna ramps me. Gwenna ramps me. I'm gonna choose Greed. Gwenna's like, yeah, you got anything with 5 or more power? Sort of. This doesn't. These are both 0/0s. I'll make it work. I will simply find the cards that have it. We can just spit out a gigantic Verazol. I'm going to start with Cherix, though. And I will bounce Pitiless Plunderer back to my opponent's hand. We unfortunately didn't hit anything. They all cost too much mana there. So next up, we'll go for Verazol. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me? 5. Oh, right. It's X equals 3, but it comes in as a 5/5. Go ahead and bounce that back into hand. Kamiya Bamboo Groves or Reservoir Kraken. More Krakens! I'll bounce the Jadar. Reservoir Kraken untaps Gwenna. Would you like to tap your untapped creature? It would give me a fish and it wouldn't actually do anything else, since I can't attack with this anyway. Unless you want to attack me. Oh, they gave me the fish! Thank you, opponent. I do appreciate the fish. He's just a little guy. Our ramp was very efficient. Cavalier of Night. They sacrificed their zombie to kill Hullbreaker Horror. That's fair. Hullbreaker Horror does need to die. They've still got 1 mana up. If they have something like a Fatal Push, Verazol is vulnerable to Fatal Push, since it is technically a 2-drop creature. They've got 4 life they can gain, putting them at an essential 15 life. They block my biggest creature. I guess the Kraken. Since it'd be better to block than tap it. They'd still be taking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I guess I have 2 snow-covered islands. 15, 16. It would be lethal. Hello? Your go? Bones! Discarding a card to kill Gwenna! Not what I expected, but sure. We could just go for casting Cure Best of Sea Gods. Let me just reevaluate. Do I have lethal here? We've got, this gets blocked. 1 goes through. Just as good to do that. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yep, we're still good. They're not going to let me swing in, so we're going to win the game. GG. Vampire Link is playing the first Sliver. Now, is this actually going to be a Sliver stack? Or is it just 5-color good stuff? We don't know. All we know is their commander has Cascade. And since it's 5 colors, we're probably going to see some ramp too. That's what you get when you play the first Sliver. I know I've got a first Sliver deck, and it's really fun. Here's Kami of Bamboo Groves. I'm going to accelerate my mana a little bit. Growth to Spiral. What's better than 1/1/1? 3 1/1s! I'll swing with the Kami at the Invasion of Segovia. Boop. If I can flip this over, I'll be able to use my creatures to cast my instants and sorceries. And other non-creatures. But I just have an instant in hand. Here's Uro. They ramp some more. So far, just good stuff. But also this could be ramp. This could just be ramp to get to their commander. I think you all know I don't trust like that, though. Not a lick. Kami of Bamboo Groves and my 2 little Krakens. We're going to get smacking. Hit an Invasion of Segovia. Flipping it over. I'm going to Cultivate as well. Yeah, I may as well use Cadus since we'll be untapping with it. Get some green. Actually, I might want to just get double blue since I have so much green right now. Blue, blue. Beautiful. We could play Verazol here. I don't feel like we need to. I'd rather save it for Kiora. We untap. And we have our Heroic Intervention ready to roll, just in case they try to wipe the board. Do not wipe my board. It will not work. Unless it's like a Farewell, which you don't have the mana for. But you do have mana for the 5-cost exiling board wipe these days. Ooh. Such terrors we have. That's a Coldsteel Heart naming blue. We can destroy that with Reclamation Sage. And Lancer Sliver! It's a Slivers deck! Yeah! Oh, that's what I like to see. So often are we met with great, horrible disappointment of, it ain't a frickin' Slivers deck. This one? That there? That's a Sliver. Good for them. We're gonna play Kiora. I'll attack with Cadus since it's the only thing bigger than the Lancer Sliver. I will untap my 1-tapped creature and pass back to them. Kiora's just like, oh boy, I can't wait to cast some fish. Oh, we're gonna go fishing, all right. Got myself a big tap and slap right there. The first Sliver cascades into a Arcane Signet, gives them a bit more ramp. They both have First Strike. And that's fine. We go for Verazol or the Elder Deep-Fiend here. I'm going to go for Verazol, just casting for 4. X equals 4. To see what I can get. Selvala. Nice. And we could do Kiora Best the Sea God. Sure, why not? Ah, that is the biggest creature on the battlefield. We'll draw a card, and I will untap Verazol. This, you and you. For jump blocking. And for casting Heroic Intervention. See if they can get some cascade going on here through that first Sliver. They also might not have any more Slivers in hand. In which case, we'll see what else they have. And I'll sip my coffee. Because it's good coffee. Kiora Best of Sea Gods. Next turn is going to be doing a big old tap. Tapping down all their non-land permanents and locking them down. Kiora's very excited about that, since we will have a lot of damage and a ton of mana added up, because Selvala will be tapping for like 8 mana. The Spark. My permanents get hexproof and indestructible. I really want to steal your stuff. Which is Chapter 3 of Kiora Best the Sea God. So Kiora's like, I am the Sea God now. Bye, Thassa. that's game. GG first sliver. Ninjutsu ahoy with Satoru Umezawa. Able to turn any unblocked attacking creature into another creature in their hand, which can mean, you know, your little 1/1 unblockable fish becomes, you know, Hullbreaker Horror, Emrakul, all sorts of things. Oh, that was a turn 1, not technically bolting the elf. They have turned him into a legitimate business elf. Ah, yes. No longer do I sit in the woods and channel the mana of the land. I do paperwork now. Network Disruptor, speaking of things that are difficult to block and fly. There you go. That can turn into almost anything. Get out Tireless Angler. Who's gonna go fishing for some lands here? Hey, do you want to trade? No? Okay, I thought I'd ask. When we play an island, like this one, Tireless Angler is going to go fishing for one of these from its spellbook. We'll see what we get. Hopefully it will help us play stuff on curve. Network Disruptor. They could just have other ninjutsu things. They don't need to use Satoru's ability. And also, I should point out, for people who don't keep up to date with Arena, Satoru Umezawa, for some ungodly reason, was eroded in Arena to be each creature card in your hand has ninjutsu 3 instead of 4. Like, why? He killed my fisherman. Excuse you? I'm gonna play Verazol here, just so I have a beater on curve. Something that can block on the ground, something that's a nice big fish. As somebody who played a Satoru Umezawa deck before it was updated, I can tell you it did not need that update at all. We can go for Gwenna for ramp, we can play Mesmerizing Benthid. I think we're just gonna swing in with Verazol and then play Kiora. Boop. Kiora does have Ward, which makes her a little bit, you know, harder to deal with. Alright, so what do you think they're gonna ninjutsu at? They have 3 cards in hand. It could be anything. It could even be a... Come on, opponent. You can't leave me hanging like this. You gotta have something you can ninjutsu in. By the way, sometimes you just ninjutsu with Satoru to either get enter the battlefield effects again, or draw, because it gives you card advantage when you use his ability, for some reason. Network Disruptor is actually a Hullbreaker Horror. I wish I had my Hullbreaker Horror, but I don't. So that's a 3 mana, 7/8, that currently is not being blocked because it was ninjutsu'd from a Network Disruptor. They could have actually ninjutsu'd again. They wouldn't have gotten the card draw, but it would still get them stuff into play. Hello, Network Disruptor. Would you like to enter the battlefield? Ledger Shredder! Who you bouncing? Verazol? Great. You want to play this Network Disruptor too? No. Alright, here's an octopus. Hi, Kiora. Kiora is sort of ramp. Sort of draw. And because she resolves first, she actually will get me a land, or hopefully something drawn here, off this enter the battlefield. Aha! A land! I will attack with Kiora! Not this Kiora. This Kiora. It's fine. I know, there's a lot of them. Mesmerizing Benthid has hexproof because we do have octopi. Well, illusion octopies. We've still got some chump blockers here. Kiora has ward. She's decently protected. I don't feel like we're in the worst spot here. It really does depend on what they get in hand that they can ninjutsu onto the battlefield. They bounced my illusion. My beautiful illusion of an octopus. I've never seen octopi like these. Siren Storm Tamer, a counter creature. That's also going to let them get rid of another one of my little fish. This no longer has hexproof. Four mana, one card in hand. Do I think that they could cast a spell here? I'm going to say, gee, I sure hope not. Ninjutsu? Maybe. Let's see what it is. If it's something like a Chupacabra, we are in an exceptionally bad place. It's the Ancient Brass Dragon who's actually going to be able to reanimate cards when it hits my face, and it's gonna hit my face. Let's see what that D20 rolls. Three! Okay, that actually didn't bring anything back, did it? Oh no, Tireless Angler! Tireless Angler costs 3. Certainly could have been worse. I could use Vivien to make a single blocker here for the air. At least I got rid of that thing. Hey Vivien, you wanna make something with reach? Great. I think I'm dead anyway. That's fine. I also have a Satoru Umezawa deck in my other Brawl Stars videos if you'd like to check it out. You too can do, big cheaty face things. You too can ninjutsu Hullbreaker Horrors onto the battlefield for the low cost of 3 mana. Alright, they're swinging in. We're gonna block the Ancient Brass Dragon because it's a 7/6. Can you deal 1 additional damage? That's all it takes is 1. That's 6. So, the answer was yes. Yes, they can. Ow! Oof, oof. Yeah! Our opponent's got 2 commanders in 1 with Simone and Dina. Simone and Dina are about sacrificing creatures and drawing extra cards per turn. This hand is awkward because we actually have a phenomenal ramp and a cool board bounce too, but no green mana. We're going to throw it back and we're going to try again. This is a little bit better. We have some ramp, we have some ramp, we have some ramp, we have some big fish. It's hard to make a good balance between playing Serpents, Krakens, Leviathans, Octopi in this deck and playing everything else because unfortunately a lot of them are not amazing. They're just fine. But in a format like Historic Brawl, where it's 1v1 and it's very much a race, who wins first, who gets to have board dominance, it can be hard to play anything less than the best. But I believe in us, and I believe in my big octopi. Sylvan Ranger gonna grab themselves a basic, put it in hand. Also, because of that enter the battlefield ability, it's very sacrificable to Simone and Dina. Simone and Dina, by the way, doesn't care how you draw your second card in a turn, but it can draw you the second card per turn. Really good way to recycle creatures. Alright, we've got our Beside You. We could do Settle the Wild, grab ourselves something that costs 3. I'd rather have a 3 or 4 cost creature here. I'd rather just Cultivate. I'm going to Cultivate. I'll grab 1 blue, 1 green, throw the green onto the battlefield, play this land, get ready to throw down either Kiora or maybe some Fishy next turn. Slinn Voda, by the way, is going to act as a bit of a board bounce for me. Slinn Voda, a very silly, very expensive card, but all about those fish. Great card to include in a deck that's about the big sea creature types. It's interesting how many cards there are that all name the same batches of sea creatures. I think it's interesting, at least. Here comes Kiora. I hope she doesn't die. She does have wards, so she's a little bit harder to kill. Hi. Don't mind me. Just a Kiora. Just a big wet lady. Just a big wet lady. my god, I love these sleeves so much. Possibly the best sleeves in Arena. Definitely the best sleeves in Arena. Quandrix Cultivator gonna come down and grab them an untapped Forester Island. See what they grab. Blue or green? Maybe get blue so they have double blue. Nope, green for triple green. We do have 6 mana currently, which is enough for some of these fish. Let's start with Mesmerizing Benthid. Kiora is going to say, ooh, what do we have in the top 5 cards of our library? Kami of Bamboo Groves or Growth Spiral? I'm going to go for Growth Spiral because I don't really want to just put a land into play. We found a Tail's End. Not the worst. And I'll pass the turn. We have Tail's End, which can counter an ability or a legendary spell. We also sort of have Sea Dasher Octopus, and we can cast it. Mutating is a form of casting a spell, and it will work for Kiora. I don't feel like I need to stop that. They have recycled the Sylvan Ranger. Solemn Simulacrum comes into play. Ramps them. You have a lot of things that enter the battlefield and ramp Simone and Dina. Ooh, and something has been foretold. Pass to attackers. Probably not. And I'm going to get the Sea Dasher Octopus, and I'm just going to mutate it onto Kiora, rather than throw it onto one of these illusions. Into the North or Elvish Mystic? I'll take Into the North. That's some more ramp for me. Ramp good. Ramp gets me to Slinn Voda. I'll get... where's that? Dual land. There it is. Rimewood Falls. I'm going to keep Kiora on top. Because she's bigger, faster, and stronger too. We could play Slinn Voda, but we cannot kick him. How many? Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do we have any other 8-drops? How many big fish do I have? I could find out. Let's do it. What do I have? Do I have any other 8-drops? I'm not looking at my deck list. I just want to find out. Elder Deep-Fiend! Oh, that's a fun one. Let's throw down Invasion of Zendikar, get ourselves even more ramp. Some of this, and some of you. No attacks, not right now, I'm good, thanks. This is a big, flashy card, which I can emerge, which means that I can sacrifice a creature to reduce its cost. So, for example, there, instead of playing Invasion of Zendikar, I could have paid by sacrificing this, and then it would have cost, I think, 2 mana? Yes, because it has an emerge of 7. What a good friend. Big, deep-fried, big, deep friend. The art on this is, by the way, absolutely nuts. Ooh, somebody's taking extra turns. Taking a couple birdies, too. Simone and Dina now has some friends, which she can recycle. Since they now have more than 8 lands, by the way, they also get double the triggers off that sacrifice ability, which means Simone and Dina is getting value. Seriously, Sultai value all the way down with this card. They've got an entire extra turn, and they're about to get 2 more cards in hand, maybe a bit more ramp. Yep, there's some right there. I lose some life, and then we say, ooh, but do you want to attack me? As long as they don't have Enter the Battlefield abilities, I'm cool with them playing some big stuff, because we could tap them or bounce them back into hands, so long as they are not some sort of a fish. I say, except it doesn't actually include the creature-type fish. I know. Why doesn't it include the creature-type fish? Ooh, Timeless Witness. Who's coming back? Solemn Simulacrum. Gonna get some more ramp. Up to 28 life right now from Simone and Dina. Nice. Wall of Blossoms, going to draw them another card. Triggering Simone and Dina, draining me for 2. And now if they sacrifice something on my turn, they'll also be draining me for 2. Into the north. They romp! But yeah, you have absolutely ramped. But so have I. We're both rampoids. I think it's time to say goodbye to these 2 beautiful illusions. Because we may as well kick it. Kiora, what do you find? Emoti, Nissa, Verzal, Boo, Battle Mammoth. Ooh! Okay, Emoti gets me the most value. Battle Mammoth protects me. What am I feeling here? I'm feeling Emoti. I want to go deep. Reclamation Sage? Sure. Instead of bouncing it back into hand, we can kill the Solemn Simulacrum. And then it will get bounced back into my hand anyway. Because it's not any of those things. Here comes Emoti. I tried to put full control mode on. There we go. So while Emoti is still on the battlefield, I'm going to try to emerge. So let's see. I have to sacrifice... I think Benthid or this. Yeah, let's go with the Benthid. I think that's enough. Because that will also trigger the Cascade. Just have 4 permanents. You. Sure, let's go. Emoti's about to get thrown back into my hand, since it's a creature. Kiora would get me some card draw. Vivien is just good stuff. Faceless Agent, not being cast from hand, so it wouldn't trigger Kiora. Let's go for Vivien. She's just good. Slinn Voda only bounces creatures. Hey, Simone and Dina. There's stuff happening here. Spell Pierce! Goodbye, Vivien. Some things get tapped. Great. Free Scrap Gorger. It enters the battlefield. It's gonna go right back into my hand. But I think our opponent is, not here for it. We've got a lot of fish. We're bouncing all their stuff back into hand, and even though they have entered the battlefield effects, it's gonna be slowing them down. And giving me a couple big swings with my fishies. GG! Nethroi, Apex of Death. An apex predator who brings back your creatures from the graveyard. And it brings them back based on their power. You get to reanimate when you mutate up to 10 power worth of creature, which does include creatures that have a toughness and power that appear different in the graveyard versus the battlefield, which ends up bringing back a lot more than 10 actual power, including things that get counters when they enter the battlefield or have entered the battlefield abilities that are just super duper strong. Nethroi, very cool commander, and we're gonna have to put a good focus on stopping some of those beasts that come down. I expect there to be a good amount of enter the battlefield, things that fill up the graveyards. And just versatile Abzan spells. When you're in black and green and white, you have access to incredibly good removal. Being able to destroy any kind of permanent, definitely a thing they know how to do. Ooh, a foretell? It has been foretold that I would play this snake and use it to cast Rook's Uprising. Oop. This enchantment gives my creatures trample. Not so important on a 2-1 and a 1-1. Pretty good on Kiora. Really good on Coma. Also draws me cards whenever my big boys enter the battlefield. Big boy battlefield entering. Definitely a part of Kiora's wheelhouse. Assassin's Trophy, they're killing my snake. What? I get a land. I'll take a forest. This one. Cool forest, bro. Just checking how much mana I have here. A bunch. I've got a bunch of mana. In case I draw something cool, I am going to just tap down this Caryatid. Okay. That's fine. I missed out on 1 damage by doing that, but I figured that way I'm floating 1 extra mana in case I draw some creatures. Midnight Reaper, when their creatures die, they lose a life and draw a card. How about we get down a fish? We had a choice here between Icebreaker Kraken, Coma, and Hullbreaker Horror. And it looks like all 3 of them are going to spell disaster for our opponent because they're incredibly good cards. GG, Nethroy. Mr. Hooper is playing Calyx, Guided by Fate. I go second, and I have this awkward lack of ramp until turn 3. And against a deck like Calyx, I think that's too slow. Calyx is a very fast, aggressive deck that's about copying your enchantments by attacking and hitting face with either Calyx or an enchanted creature. Calyx is really strong, and I will highly recommend him as a commander if you're looking for an enchantment build. I think that he's fun, he's spicy, he's powerful, and all those things together mean that Calyx is a force to be reckoned with. We got our Llanowar Elves, and oh my god, a Spirited Companion. A dog! Since they could play their commander next turn, I can hold open Tail's End to deal with it. I could also just play Garruk's Uprising to set up for a future turn. That doesn't really do that much for me, though. It, like, draws me cards eventually. I don't need that. I'd rather Tail's End. Hi, I'm an elf. How you doing? Growing Rites of Itlimoc. I could also counter that, but that is not as important to me. This turns into essentially a Gaia's Cradle, Itlimoc Cradle of the Sun, but it needs you to have, during your end step, 4 more creatures, which currently they don't have. My turn! Oh, Selvala! Hey, Selvala. I would say Selvala accelerates me enough that I don't need the Tail's End here. Now, that's kind of greedy, but I'm going to go with it as my excuse here. Selvala taps for mana equal to the greatest power among creatures I control. But you need to pay 1 green, so net, she only generates 1 mana until I get something bigger than her onto the battlefield. She'll also cause card draw. Whenever a creature for either player enters the battlefield, the controller will draw a creature if it's the biggest thing on the field. Planar Disruption. Gonna stop me from activating Selvala's abilities, even her mana abilities. Planar Disruption, by the way, probably the best aura removal outside of Ossification, which, like, straight up exiles things. It's sweet, though. That puts me at 4 mana here, which is not what I want. Not what I want at all. I can play the Caryatid. It's ramp, and it lets me hold open the Tail's End. Ram, whenever they cast auras. I don't think they're going to have many equipments or vehicles, but auras. We'll be drawing them a card. No Calyxes. You gotta wait, like, a turn, and then you can come back. Dog's like, oh. Hey, wait a minute. You keeping it in the graveyard? No, okay, they put it back into the command zone. I was gonna say, like, please don't leave it in the graveyard. That always means something scary has happened or you misclicked. Sometimes both. We're swinging in for 3. I'll take 3. Boop, boop. Nice! Castle Garenbrig will allow me to cast my commander. Kiora! This is the biggest thing on the battlefield, so I will draw a card. I can technically cycle my Striped Riverwinder. I'm just gonna leave this back. It makes it seem like I have something more impressive than put a fish in the trash. Everybody likes put a fish in the trash. I want to cast this. I actually think I can cast it next turn, since this generates so little extra mana. This currently taps for 2. Calyx, the other Calyx, the Calyx that originally got printed, now on the battlefield, is able to exile things. But if you want to exile specifically Kiora, you do have to pay her ward cost. So it looks like they're going to plus. That's going to let them look at the top 4 cards in our library, grab an enchantment from among them, and put it into hand. Did you find any? Also, I just noticed their squirrel sleeves. Those are very cute. Seal from Existence. That's a really strong card to be copying with Calyx, since it's just good removal. Kind of like Kiora, also has ward. Outside of Life's Bounty, that's going to be able to give protection to another creature or enchantment. It's currently just holding priority there. Great! River's Rebuke. Yeah, I don't actually like that you have all this stuff on the battlefield. And I'd like to activate my Selvala. They would not like me to activate my Selvala. They do not want me to cast a big crab this turn. They're going to leave. Good game, Calyx. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars. As always, if you'd like to check out my channel live, I'm always up at twitch.tv/Amazonian. I stream Magic almost every single day, but unfortunately I won't be able to stream for the launch days of Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. I'm going to be out of town on Tuesday and Wednesday, which means that there's going to be a slight delay in me publishing Brawl Stars videos featuring the new commanders. I'm sure you all understand. I just wanted to give a little bit of forewarning because people are going to be like, where's Tom Bombadil? And the answer is, I can't make Tom Bombadil on my laptop. It's just, I'm not good at recording on my laptop. The webcam is bad. And I'm not going to travel with a giant camera and everything else. That sounds miserable. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars, though. And if there's a commander you'd like to suggest for Tales of Middle-earth, please let me know in the comments. Also, if there's maybe anything I haven't played from March of the Machine, The Aftermath, because there were a lot of commander cards and, I haven't played them all yet. There's still more to go. Thank you so much for watching, and have a brawlful day.